Me Before You by Jojo Moyes is one of those rare books that pulls at your heartstrings and leaves a lasting impression. Whether you've read it or seen the film adaptation, this story is one that will stick with you long after you've turned the last page. But what is it about this book that has made it such a cultural phenomenon? Let's dive into a detailed summary and analysis of Me Before You and see why it resonates so deeply with so many readers. At its core, Me Before You is a love story. But it's not your typical romance. The plot centers on Louisa Clark, a young woman living in a small British town. Lou, as she's affectionately called, is quirky, sweet, and a bit uncertain about her life and future. She's stuck in a mundane job as a cafe worker when, due to a series of unfortunate events, she becomes the caregiver for Will Traynor, a wealthy, sharp-witted man who has become a quadriplegic after a tragic accident. Will is angry, bitter, and seemingly determined to end his life on his own terms. At first, Lou and Will clash, her bright, optimistic personality contrasting sharply with his dark, cynical outlook. But as the relationship deepens, Lou learns that there's more to Will than the man he presents himself to be. Will, on the other hand, begins to see life in a new light through Lou's fresh perspective. Despite their differences, they find themselves in a deep and complicated bond. The novel explores themes of disability, autonomy, and the meaning of life, and what it means to truly live. It is a story that challenges our understanding of what makes life worth living, asking difficult questions about how we face our limitations and the choices we make in the face of those limitations. The book's emotional depth is undoubtedly one of its greatest strengths. It forces us to reflect on the uncomfortable realities of life, death, and the space in between. Will's decision to end his life after the tragic accident brings up challenging issues surrounding euthanasia, assisted suicide, and the ethics of choice when it comes to our own bodies. It explores the tension between personal autonomy and the love of those around us, and how sometimes the hardest choices are the ones that lead to peace, even if others don't understand. Lou's journey is just as important as Will's. She starts the book as a woman unsure of her own worth, relying on her job to define her. But through her relationship with Will, Lou grows. She begins to understand her own desires, her own potential, and what she truly wants out of life. Her evolution is inspiring, and it's a testament to the transformative power of love and human connection. Lou's vibrant, spontaneous personality brings some light to the dark world of Will's post-accident existence, and in turn, Will's intellectual rigor and directness push Lou to think about the world in ways she never has before. Now, while the novel is incredibly moving, it's not without its criticisms. Some readers may find the pacing slow at times, especially as the plot focuses a lot on character development before any significant action takes place. However, this is essential to the story because it allows us to truly understand Lou and Will, making their eventual decisions feel more earned and impactful. Others may also feel conflicted about the conclusion. It's bold, heart-wrenching, and not what you'd expect from a typical romance novel, but that's exactly why it leaves such a lasting impact. From a thematic perspective, Me Before You challenges society's perceptions of disability and the disabled. It asks difficult questions about quality of life and autonomy. Is a life worth living if it's filled with suffering? Is it selfish to want someone you love to continue living even when they believe they've lost everything? These are tough questions, and the novel doesn't offer easy answers. It forces readers to confront these dilemmas and form their own opinions on the matter. The secondary characters in the book also contribute significantly to its depth. Lou's family, for instance, is portrayed as loving but also a bit dysfunctional. They offer comic relief at times, but they also highlight the challenges of being a caregiver and the impact that caregiving has on one's own life. There's also a subplot about Lou's romantic relationships, which further explores themes of love, responsibility, and sacrifice. Another notable aspect of the book is its setting. The small British town where Lou lives and works is depicted vividly, almost like another character in the story. The setting adds to the overall feeling of familiarity and comfort that Lou has before meeting Will, and it contrasts sharply with the world Will now inhabits, a world of hospitals, physical therapy, and isolation. The way Moyes contrasts these two worlds emphasizes the emotional distance between Lou and Will, and also their eventual emotional connection. What makes Me Before You truly special, however, is how it makes readers question their own assumptions and beliefs about life, love, and death. The book forces you to look at life from an entirely new perspective, one that doesn't shy away from difficult, uncomfortable truths.
Will and Lou's journey is one of transformation, and by the end, you'll find yourself contemplating the choices that define your own life. In conclusion, Me Before You is a powerful, thought-provoking novel that challenges readers to rethink life's most profound questions. It's an emotional roller coaster that isn't afraid to tackle tough topics like euthanasia, disability, and the value of life. The characters are rich, complex, and relatable, and their stories will stay with you long after you've finished reading. If you've read Me Before You, what are your thoughts on the ending and the ethical questions it raises? Feel free to share your comments below. And if you haven't read it yet, I highly recommend you give it a try. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any of our future book reviews. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.